Welcome everyone. In today's video, I wanted to do a Solana ecosystem overview and introduction for 2022. So this is going to be the first time that a lot of people actually touch Solana DeFi. So this should be a good introduction video for those people. And for people who are already familiar with the ecosystem, you might as well stick around because I'm going to be mentioning a couple projects I'm sure you've not heard of before. And it's probably worth trying them out in hopes for an airdrop. So if I name 2 or 3 projects you've not heard of, leave a like. If you've heard of them all, leave a dislike and, I'll make a note of that. So why would you want to use Solana? Well, it's really fast and it's really cheap and the user experience is quite nice. You don't have to worry about paying extremely high fees. You don't have to worry about setting the gas to a certain limit so you can actually get your transaction processed, and the user experience is quite smooth. So as you can see here, the average cost per transaction, it's basically negligible. And you can also do most of the things on Solana that you could previously do only on Ethereum, so that's quite nice as well. So say you were new to the Solana DeFi ecosystem, what's the first thing you'd want to do? You'd want to make a trade. So let's talk about the decentralized exchanges available on Solana right now. So the first one here is Orca. So Orca is one of the premier dexes here. It's another AMM. You can do your basic swaps and stable swaps as well. But what I really like about Orca is the UI. It's quite clean. And this little search bar that you have here. So say for example, you wanted to do 10 Bitcoin to Serum. You type that in and it will also populate the swap tab here. But let's say for example I wanted to do 100 FTT let's say for example to Serum, so that also auto populates here. It'll give you some warnings, so on and so forth, and it'll give you the best route for it. You can also use Orca to LP, and there's some pretty good yields here, and a lot of the leveraged yield farming protocols will utilize Orca as well. So I really like this DEX. It's really nice to use, but we'll talk about some others that you might want to consider using as well. So another one is Radium. So Radium is like the Uniswap of Solana. When people think about Solana DEXs, they usually talk about Radium, and it's one of the largest market cap coins in the Solana ecosystem itself. You can do basic swaps here between a lot of different pairs, a lot of different meme coins, and some tokens that you can't find anywhere else. So Invictus, for example, you can only really be traded through Radium. The next decentralized exchange I wanted to talk about is Jupiter. So this is like the premier DEX aggregator on Solana right now. So think 1 inch of Solana essentially. So they've copied Orca a bit here in the sense that you can just type in whatever you want and it will auto populate the swap screen here. So it aggregates all of the top decentralized exchanges here on Solana. So Orca, Radium, Serum, Mercurial Finance, Aldrin, Saber, Dex Labs, so on and so forth. And it will find you the best route, and you can choose whichever route that you'd like to take for like a particular trade. Jupiter is also live in mainnet, and they don't currently have a token, so I think it's definitely worth it to go ahead, try Jupiter out, and just due to the fact that you're going to be getting the best prices for your swaps, so you might as well just do it through Jupiter aggregator anyway. The next decentralized exchange I wanted to talk about is Mango Markets, and I think this is probably the best decentralized exchange right now on Solana. It's kind of Solana's super app. It combines several different things together, so let me talk about it now. So you can basically deposit Mango, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, Serum, Ray, Cope, FTT, and MSOL into Mango Markets, and then use it as collateral to trade against. So you'll be able to leverage trade Sol, while spot margin trade Sol up to 5x leverage. And if we go here, you can also trade Solana perpetual futures with up to 10x leverage. So most of these coins here, you can either trade spot margin trade it or perpetual futures trade it as well. So you're able to trade ADA, BNB, and Avalanche too, which is quite cool. And if you press here on the swap tab, basically it will take you to a new website where you can do swaps here, and essentially it just uses Jupiter on the back end. So Mango Market swap function is just basically another DEX aggregator, but it uses Jupiter on the back end. Another thing that's really nice about Mango Markets is that whatever collateral you deposit in here, it automatically starts earning a deposit rate. So if you deposit Ray, for example, you're getting 41.62% return just by depositing Ray into Mango Markets. You deposit USDC, you get 2.2%. Serum 5%, and where is it? Sol 0.43%. But then again, I think loads of people use Sol as collateral to trade against. So as you can see here, the total deposits are quite high for Sol. But the next decentralized exchange I wanted to talk about is Drift, and this mainly focuses on perpetual futures. So if you're into trading perpetual futures, then I would strongly consider using Drift. This is another protocol that's live on mainnet without a token, so you can definitely go ahead and try and use it, maybe in hopes of an airdrop. The thing that I would most likely so the thing that I would compare this most to is perpetual protocol on XDAI. So if you're familiar with that, you should be familiar with how Drift works. So Mango Markets uses an order book approach, whereas Drift uses a virtual AMM. So you're trading against a pool and you're not really trading against other people. So it's quite cool here. So you can trade Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Luna, Avalanche, and BNB with up to 5x leverage, but they'll be adding more and more markets over time. And what's nice about perpetual futures protocols is that all they need is an oracle, and then you're able to trade any market really. So yeah, you can trade up to 5x leverage. So because it's new, there's not a lot of features here that you would see on other perpetual futures dexes or even centralized exchanges, but they're fast to iterate new things. So we're going to be seeing a lot of big things coming out of Drift in the future, so definitely go ahead and check this out. Now let's talk about money markets. So Solend is the primary money market here on Solana. So basically what you can do, you can come here, deposit collateral, and then start earning a supply APY. So as you can see here, USDT is currently getting you 10% APY. The SLND token itself, 25% APY. And Ray is always paying out high. So you're getting about 48% APY for depositing Ray into Solend. So you can deposit collateral here and then borrow against it. So you can go leverage long, you can short sell, you can do various different types of strategies using money markets like Solend. The next money market I wanted to talk about is Apricot Finance. So Apricot Finance is unique in what it does, in that it combines a money market with a leveraged yield farming platform. So you can deposit, various different types of collateral here, including LP tokens, which is quite cool. You can earn a decent rate. Like Ray, for example, Ray looks like it's universally paying out about 48% across the entire Solana DeFi ecosystem. But yeah, you can deposit any of this collateral here, and then you can use it to do leveraged yield farming. So that's really cool that they've managed to combine those two different kinds of protocols. And speaking of leveraged yield farming, let's take a look at the two most prominent platforms. So we have Frankium. So Frankium, you can come here and do leverage yield farming on various different tokens. You're getting some quite high yields here, 200,000% on MBS, 7,000% on Prism. And if you can just scroll along here and see which ones are the most interesting to you. They also have pre-built farming strategies in here, so you can have a pseudo delta neutral position created for you, and that can earn you up to 19%. And you can use these strategies for yourself. You can create these strategies for yourself if you wanted to as well. I've made videos on my channel talking about how you can do this for yourself. And what's really nice about Frankium is they also have a calculator, so you can basically figure out what might happen to your leverage yield farming position given different parameters such as leverage, the amount that you supplied, prices, and so on and so forth. And if you're not particularly into leverage yield farming, but you still want to get yield, single-sided yield on your tokens, you can come to the lend page. So Frankium has a lending part of its platform, and this facilitates the leveraged yield farming. So you can come here and deposit Ray for 100%, Uni for 46%, GenoPets for 100%, DeFi Land for 100%. So there are quite some good yields here. The next leveraged yield farming platform I wanted to talk about is Tulip. So Tulip and Frankium are the two original leveraged yield farming platforms here on Solana. They compete. They have very similar products, so you can get a higher yield on MBS versus doing the same thing on Frankium. And they also list different pairs that you can go ahead and farm. So again, 3x leverage you can do here. You can also go to the lending tab, deposit collateral here, and start earning yield. So DeFi Land's paying out quite a bit, Cave's paying out quite a bit, MBS, and so on and so forth. So that's quite cool. Another cool feature with Tulip is they have auto compounding vaults. So for example, you could deposit Saber LP tokens here and they would auto compound for you, so you wouldn't have to do that yourself. So speaking of Saber, let's take a look at some stable swap platforms. So this is Saber. It's a stable swap platform. So if you want to do swaps between various different stable coins or various different wrapped versions of like Solana, for example, then you can go ahead and do it here. So you can trade between, like as you can see here, various different stable coins, Ethereum, MIM, FTT, Sol, Bitcoin, Avalanche, so on and so forth. And you can also LP here and then earn some very decent yields whilst doing so. So you can see here, like you can get 11% on stable coins. You can get even higher if you keep scrolling down. So like 19%, 20%, 20%, 20%. So if you're into stablecoin yield farming, then Saber is probably going to be one of your favorite places to go. We'll also take a look at Mercurial Finance. So this is a competitor to Saber. So they also do stable swaps. So you can swap between different versions of Sol and different stable coins, but they're not as good on business development as Saber. But they also have like a swap platform here as well. So you can do different swaps between like you could swap between like Ethereum and Mercurial Finance token if you wanted to. Like it's powered by Jupiter Aggregator. I think the same teams work on this. So if you for some reason wanted to use Mercurial Finance to do your swaps, you can go ahead and use this as well. So let's take a look at the options ecosystem live on Solana right now. So we have 01. So what 01 has going for it is everlasting options. Let's take a look at Psi options. So you can do American style options trading here on Solana as well. And its closest competitor is Zeta Markets. So again, more options trading here if that's something that you want to do. Okay, so we've taken a look at options. Now let's take a look at all of the products built on top of the options protocol. So our first one here is Tap Finance. So what happens is that you can go ahead, deposit money into Tap Finance vaults, and then it can start earning you yield upon it. So what happens here is they take your USDC and then sell a Bitcoin put, and then take those options premiums and then distribute it amongst the various different stakers. You also have a Pi put Bitcoin vault, a covered call vault for stake Solana, and another covered call vault for Bitcoin. Also take a look at Katana. So you know it's fairly similar in the sense that you can go ahead and deposit various different collateral and then earn yield upon it. So there's Mango covered calls, Bitcoin covered calls, Luna covered calls, FTT covered calls. Lots of different vaults here if you're interested in it. The next one is Friction. So again, you can earn a decent APY by depositing various different collateral in here. So 84.4% APY for Sol, 169% APY on Luna. Saber is 193% APY. So those are some fairly good rates. And the last structured product protocol I wanted to take a look at is Chest Finance. So again, fairly similar. You can deposit Sol, MSol, USDC, and get some fairly decent yields. So all of these protocols that I just spoken about now, so Tap Finance, Katana, Friction, and Chest Finance, all of them are live on mainnet and none of them have a token. So we've seen, you know, Ribbon Finance, for example, did an airdrop. So I think it's probably worth trying out all of these different protocols in case of an airdrop in the future. Diving deeper into the Solana ecosystem, we can take a look at some fund managers. So we have Solrise Finance. So what you can do, you can deposit your assets with any one of these fund managers, and then you can pay them a performance fee. But essentially what will happen is that they'll manage your funds for you and they'll trade it up. So we have Shrimp Fund, for example, who's up 322.7% on his fund, and anyone who invested early on with them has also made profits. Rutvik has had a 283% return, King at 219% return. So if you're interested in this, definitely go ahead and check out Solrise Finance. You can also go ahead and create your own on-chain fund here and manage other investors' money. And then when they want to leave the pool, you get a performance fee. So whatever profits they have made from being managed by you, you can take like a 6% cut of that. Alternatively, you can go ahead and check out Investin. So Investin is fully launched, whereas Solrise Finance is currently in its sort of gated launch phase. So you can put in more money into Investin if you would like to, and you also have more tools to do like market making, for example, and other different ways to make money on Investin versus Solrise Finance. And now onto the Olympus DAO fork ecosystem. The one that we're going to talk about is Invictus DAO. So this is the own fork on Solana, and it's the dominant one right now. So, you know, decentralized reserve currency. You can get an insanely high APY for staking. Current market capitalization is sitting at $120 million. So Invictus DAO is looking to work similarly to Olympus DAO in the sense that not only will it be decentralized reserve currency, they're looking to have other forms of revenue as well, such as bringing Olympus Pro to Solana in the form of Invictus Flare. So they'll help provide bonds as a service, sort of enter the Solana DeFi ecosystem. So we have Almond here. So Almond is like, it's just a farm, right? There's the Almond token that you can get for depositing liquidity in here, but it's really not worth much. Basically, all that people do is just farm and dump, farm and dump, farm and dump. So you can take LP tokens here, deposit it in, and you'll be rewarded with Almond tokens. So for example, you can get 43% APY on Serum tokens here, 12% APY on Bitcoin, 27% APY on FTT. So if those rates are interesting to you, then I definitely think that Almond's worth checking out. But holding the token itself, it's not really worth anything. And that's similar to Sunny. So basically what Sunny does, you can take your LP tokens from Saber and then deposit them into Sunny, and then you'll be rewarded with Saber and Sunny tokens. So if we just take a look here, you can get fairly decent single-sided yields. So 29% here on Sol, 26% on USDC, and you can find higher yields here as well. There was Luna as well, FTT, Serum, ETH, 17% yield. So you definitely go ahead and check this out as well if you're interested in single-sided yields. Now let's take a look into liquid staking. So we have Marinade Finance here, so you can stake Sol with them, and then you'll receive a liquid staking derivative in return called MSOL, and you're currently getting 6.67% APY for doing so. And with that MSOL, you can go ahead and use it as collateral in the DeFi ecosystem. So for example, you can have stake Sol, but also put it into a money market and borrow against it. So, higher capital efficiency there. And it doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, to stake your Sol normally. You might as well just get MSOL, and then you can earn additional yield upon that. We also have Sociant here, so you can get a slightly higher yield here, but just note that there probably aren't as many places to take your SEN Sol versus your MSOL. And so to round this video off, we're going to take a look at Light Protocol. So Light Protocol is fairly similar to Tornado Cash. So if you want to move money from wallet to wallet without doxing that wallet, you can use Light Protocol. So you can deposit money into it and then withdraw to your other wallets at a later time period without linking those two wallets. So whilst this video talked about a lot of different projects available on Solana and all the various different categories there are obviously more out there. Say for example, I didn't mention UXD protocol, I didn't mention DeFi Land, I didn't mention a lot of the top DeFi protocols out there, simply because we're stretched for time. This video just can't go on forever. So here's the Solana ecosystem page. I recommend that you go ahead and look through it all. There are going to be various different DeFi protocols here that you've never heard of, and ones that you might find a lot of use in. I covered most of the main ones, so like Drift, Mango, Orca, Radium, Saber, Apricot Finance, Frankium, Solend, Tulip, that sort of thing. But there are obviously more protocols out there that you should definitely go ahead and try out. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.